Look at this weather. You can see why people don't like to garden in November. If it is a bit too dark for the camera to pick me up, I'll see if I can do something in the edit with the exposure button. Anyway, we've been quite lucky down here on the south coast of England because it's still really mild, although we've had an awful lot of rain, which means I can't get the mower on the garden because it's just going to sink in and ruin the lawn that I've got. So mild is it that in the house we haven't even had our heating on, which for some is a badge of honor. Honestly, I don't care about things like that. I think one of the reasons why the house is still so warm, 20 degrees Celsius, would you believe it, is because my lovely wife Lorna, she does like to talk a lot. Anyway, I'm talking to you about those seeds that are time sensitive and you should be sowing them now in November. So maybe you hadn't even thought about these plants, but it's a great way to get these plants off early, save you a load of money rather than buying them as fully grown pot established plants in the spring. So I'm going to break it down into 3 sections. The first section of those ornamental flowering plants that you would sow now straight outside, fully hardy, no need to mess about. The second group are those hardy vegetable seeds. Get a March on early next year. Again, these can go straight out now. You don't need to worry about it. You may need to be careful making sure that you're planting them in beds that are well drained, warm soils, full sun. And then the third group of plants are going to be those plants that you can sow outside now, but you may need to put some protection on them, like a cold frame or a cloth. So we won't spend too much time on each one, simply because you can find all this information out on the Royal Horticultural Society's website. Yes, it's all there. I don't need to just repeat what they're saying. If there's a particular plant you come across that I'm talking about, I'll mention something about it, but you get a lot more information over there. Saves me doing this video, stops this video just dragging on for hours and hours. Nobody wants to see that. Anyway, first group, hardy flowering ornamental seeds that you can plant now. There's no need. The first on the list is the perennial favourite, the Lupin, and you've got 2 choices with which to germinate these. The first is to simply take some seed, scatter them on the borders where you want to grow them, and forget about them. That is all you need to do. The only problem with doing it this way is you do get a lower germination rate. You won't get so many plants coming through. It's a bit hit and miss. But there is a far more successful way, which I'll talk to you about now. Okay, we need to do a little bit of preparation first in order to help increase your germination rate. So before you do anything, you want to nick or rub these seeds on a little bit of sandpaper to expose the germ underneath the seed coat. Don't damage the germ and don't damage the eye of the seed coat. Once you've done that, soak your lupin seeds in warm water for 24 hours and then simply do as you would do usually, and that's plant them into, say, 9cm pots containing a decent seed and cutting compost, then put it in an unheated greenhouse or in your cold frame, water them in. You can pretty much forget about those until the spring. They should germinate fine. So there you go, that's lupins. You want to know more? Again, Royal Horticultural website. The next one I'll talk to you about is going to be your sweet peas, one of Lorna's most favouriteest of all the annual seeding planty flower things. Yes, sweet peas, very colourful, mostly pink and extremely fragrant, but I'm not a big fan of them. Lorna does like them a lot, and we have done a video all about growing sweet peas. I'll stick a copy of the thumbnail here. I'll put the actual link that you need to press on. That'll be in the description for you. Don't go there now, go at the end when I finish. Not that anybody, no one does those links, no one does, but you know, it's there for it. You can plant these either now in November, or you can wait and plant them in the spring. Monty Dunn actually recommends planting them even earlier in October, although November is absolutely fine for me. I don't need to go into any more detail because we've done all that. Already done all that in that video. So let's go on with the next one. What could it be? Something that I should have mentioned a bit earlier is the reason why these seeds are being sown in November, because you might be thinking, I don't want to go out there and start doing work in the garden. It's too wet and cold and horrible. I'll wait until the spring. But this would be a mistake regarding many of the seeds that I'm talking about in this video, because many of them will need a cold period in order to initiate germination. That is something that is called stratification. So if they don't get their cold period, they won't germinate. You could plant them in the spring and not much will happen unless you force that cold period by placing those seeds in the fridge for a few weeks. Anyway, the next plant I'm going to talk about are your eryngiums, which is your sea holly. And some of these cultivars have an absolutely stunning metallic blue coloration on them. Anyway, these will need a cold period like the ones we've spoken about earlier. And the best off planting them up into pots or a seed tray, getting those into the greenhouse and just leaving them there, water them in and wait for germination to occur in the spring when you can pot them up. So yeah, sea holly, what a wonderful, wonderful plant. Sorry to interrupt. This is me, Simon, from the future. I've just had a thought. If you are planning to buy some seeds for sowing now in November, or any new seeds for the spring, or even sundry items, any of those garden products you want to buy, then I can help you by saving you some genuine money. All you need to do is just check out my breaking news. Welcome to Breaking News. Thompson and Morgan have joined forces with us, Walking Talking Gardeners, to give you, our viewers, an incredible 12% discount off of everything they have in their store. That's all their dry goods, their sundries, their seeds, their bulbs, all their plants. Everything means everything. How can they do it? I have no idea, but all you need to do to get that discount is spend over £20 and stick in this promotional code, which will be in the description. Alternatively, you can go direct to our landing page, which I'll also put here, and your code will be added automatically. Again, the link for that will be in the description. How do they do it? How can they possibly give such a large discount? I have no idea. No one else can do it. You have got until the end of this year, that is December 31st, 2025, to take advantage of this offer, and then the offer is gone for the spring. So do it now. Spend all your money buying what you need. Don't buy stuff you don't need. It's only worth doing it if it was stuff you wanted to buy in the first place. Don't forget, now is the time to plant your spring flowering bulbs. Anyway, it's all in the description. It's a fantastic offer. I thoroughly recommend it. Who gives 12%? 5% is like your profit margin on all this garden centre products. 12%. Enough said. And now back to your regular programming. Your wonderful cornflowers, they can be direct sown right now out in your garden. You can, if you miss this opportunity, re-sow in the spring, and it's really the blue flowers that are absolutely wonderful, really eye-catching. See them a mile away. They do have some pink cultivars, but let's be honest with you, nobody is going to be planting them. Last on the list of your ornamental flowers are your Delphiniums. Now I appreciate we are getting a little bit late with these. Usually your last time to sow is around about October, but in the mildest regions of the UK you can probably still get away with it in November. Now when it does come to sowing your Delphinium seeds, you sow them into a seed tray or modular seed tray, and you just place the seeds on the surface of the soil. You don't stick them in and then bury them. Put on a thin layer on top of that of vermiculite, perlite or horticultural grit, and then place that into your greenhouse. Now you will get better germination according to some sources if you keep them more in the heavy shade. Keep them out of direct sunlight, keep them in the shade. So maybe put those under your staging. Some people say just put them in the greenhouse, in your garage. So the light isn't so important. You do want them away from frost, freezing conditions. So unheated greenhouse should be fine, like I say, but you might want to choose your garage. Sounds a little bit counterintuitive, but apparently the professional growers who do this for a living, that's what they advise, and who am I to argue?
Oh, hold on a minute. If you're finding this video useful or even just mildly amusing, then don't forget to click the thumbs up, press on that subscription, and if you want to be notified of whenever we release a new video, then click on that notification bell. It helps us more than you know, and it allows us to do stupid visits like this in the future. Anyway, let's continue to find out what old boiled butt has to say. Put my bloody glasses back on. Too hot, too sunny. It's too lovely.
So that is my list completed of those ornamental flowering plants that you can sow in November. And now we're going to talk about edible crops that you can plant. Now there's only two that I'm going to talk about. One's broad beans, the other one are your garlic. Now appreciate the garlic isn't seed, it's going to be the cloves, but you know, let me off that one at least this time. So when you are planting the cloves, you need to prepare your soil first. You need a sunny position. You need the ground to be weed free. You need the ground also to be very free draining and moisture retentive. It's generally recommended that you pre-dig out where you're going to sow your garlic cloves with blended farm manures, organic matter, something to enrich it but also help maintain moisture within the soil. Like I say, wants to be free draining but also quite moist. The weeding aspect, you don't want the competition of the weeds with your garlic bulb. So some people put down a weed suppressant mat along the ground. If you've got a black mat, then that will also help heat up the soil when the sun is on it, and you would cut into that weed suppressant fabric and plant your cloves in there. Now your cloves are planted an inch deep, so that's an inch above the tip of the clove, and about 6 inches apart. Now if you've got quite heavy soils, wet soils, then maybe plant it a little bit higher. If it's very free draining and you want to plant it deeper, you generally get bigger bulbs later on. So that's those. And next one is your broad beans. If you want the very best broad bean for November planting, then look no further than Aqua Dolce Claudia. Everybody says so. Plant it 2 inches deep, place the scar or the eye of the seed facing down, and plant about 6 to 9 inches apart. Choose a sunny position and prepare your soil beforehand, digging in plenty of organic manure or organic compost to help enrich and improve moisture retention. It wants to be a well-drained soil because in damp, waterlogged, heavy soils, these broad beans can rot off. And there you go. Those are my 2 edible crops for planting in November. That was all you had to do. When it comes to sowing a protected edible crop in November, arguably the best one to choose are your lettuce. There's a couple of really good cultivars like Winter Density or Winter Gem, but they will need to be grown either in a unheated greenhouse or underneath a cloche. Sow them about ½ an inch deep, 12 inches apart, and consider successional planting. So every few weeks, plant a few more. That way you'll get a consistent supply of lettuce throughout the spring. I appreciate it may just be a little bit too late in the year, but you might be able to get away with one last sowing of your coriander, or as the Americans say,
Oh, say can you see?
cilantro. Sow them in a lovely terracotta pot. Put that into your greenhouse, and with luck, in a few weeks you'll start to get the new shoots of that lovely tasty herb for your meals. And that's it. Those are all the seeds that I want to talk to you about that you really don't want to miss planting now, sowing in November. But of course there are going to be plenty of others, and you're more than welcome to add those into the comments. We would genuinely love to hear from you. Don't forget, did you click that like button? Because that really helps to support our channel, and always consider subscribing. Subscribing is always free. You can unsubscribe immediately at any time, absolutely fine. But if you want to be notified whenever we release a new video, then click onto the notification bell. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Right, now, just before you go, if you want to see more content, more behind the scenes stuff, and images that I've taken of some weird freaky plants over the years, then you're in luck, because we've created an Instagram page. So you can find the link in our description. You can find the link on our main page, and if I'm clever enough, I might be able to get a link somewhere up there. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you want to see more YouTube stuff, then check out this video here. That's quite a good one. And if it doesn't float your boat, then another one right there. And enjoy these while I still got the strength, imagination and aptitude to make them. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.